morning, children. Today we are going to start the another chapter, that is electromagnetic induction. Before going to the main chapter, we have to understand first of all the concept of the magnetic flux linked with the closed surface, and we want to find out the dimension and unit. So which flux is called as a positive, which flux is called as a negative, that also we will study in this. The concept of flux we have studied in electrostatics also. Okay, so let us see what is the magnetic flux. The magnetic flux through any surface placed in the magnetic field is the total number of magnetic lines of forces crossing this surface normally. It is measured as the product of component of the magnetic field normal to the surface and that the surface area. Okay, so magnetic flux is a scalar quantity again, and it is defined by the letter phi or phi b. Now if the uniform magnetic field B passing normally through the surface or plane surface area capital A as shown in this diagram A, we can see that the flux, magnetic flux through this area is given by the particular formula, that is phi is equal to BA. Okay, and if the field makes angle theta with respect to a particular normal, you can see here, then we can write down this particular formula as phi is equal to B cos theta into A. Okay, so we can say that it is the component of the field normal to this area is considered as a B cos theta and multiplied by the area, that is B cos theta into A. As it is B cos theta into A, we can write down this in terms of the scalar product, that is B vector B dot vector A. Okay, here the direction of the area vector A bar is the direction of the outward drawn normal to the surface. So we have considered this concept of the area vector while studying the electric flux, isn't it? So suppose this is the planar area and we have suppose the another field B over an area A may not be uniform. However, over a small element area dA, suppose we have considered the surface A in the magnetic field which is not planar, isn't it? So in that case we can have the small elements such as dA, dA1, dA2 like this. Okay, so if theta is the angle between B and normal to the surface, then the component of normal to dA is B cos theta. We have studied that. Okay, now this is considered as a d phi. So d phi is equal to B cos theta into dA. Okay, now therefore the flux through the whole area, suppose we want to find out flux through the whole area, then we are going to consider it as a phi is equal to integration over a complete surface A B vector B dot d A bar. Okay, so we can have this formula to calculate the particular magnetic flux passing through a area. Now dimensions of phi. Dimensions of phi we want to find out. Okay, so dimensions, phi is equal to BA, therefore phi is equal to, I will write down now here, phi is equal to BA, and B we are going to consider it in terms of the force BVQ sin theta. So we have F upon QV sin theta is nothing but B multiplied by A. Okay, so in this way phi is equal to M L T raised to minus 2, this is regarding the force, divided by Q charge, so C L T minus 1, okay, multiplied by area, that is L square. So phi is equal to, we have here C T raised to minus 1 is nothing but called as ampere, 1 ampere. Yes, okay, so that's what it is, M L2 t raised to minus 2 divided by ampere, or I can write down in same way that m1 L2 t minus 2 and a raised to minus 1. So I can write down this in terms of the MLT format. Now unit of magnetic flux is Weber, isn't it? So it is considered as a Tesla meter square. So I'll write down here, unit is called as Weber. In a short form we can write down that is WB, and 1 Weber is equal to Tesla into meter square. Okay. Now CGS unit is also another smaller unit. Then smaller unit are considered as a Maxwell. So 1 Weber is equal to 1 Weber is equal to 1 into 10 raised to 8 Maxwell. This is also another unit. Okay. Now we have 1 Maxwell is equal to 1 Gauss into 1 centimeter square. So this is the relation between the Weber, Maxwell as well as the particular flux in terms of Tesla meter square, also Gauss. Okay. Now what is the positive flux and what is the negative flux? So obviously a normal to the plane can be drawn from either side. If the normal drawn to the plane points out in the direction of the field, then theta is equal to 0 and the flux is considered as a positive. Okay, so for example, suppose this is the surface, okay, and from this surface this is line we have drawn, and this is the direction of the magnetic field, and the area vector is also in the along the same line, that is n cap. So in this case theta is equal to 0 and this flux is called as a positive magnetic flux. Suppose in the another case, suppose this is the surface and the field is in this direction, okay, but normal to the area I have considering in this direction n cap. Then you can see that here the angle between this normal to the area and the magnetic field B is 180 degrees. So in this case the flux is called as a negative flux. So in this way we can calculate the flux, whether positive or negative, what is meant by the flux. Okay. Now we are going to start with the another topic that is called as a Faraday's laws of induction. But before that, Faraday's laws of induction, we have to consider what are the Faraday's laws of experiments of the electromagnetic induction. Okay. Now especially we can say that what is electromagnetic induction? The phenomena of production of induced EMF and hence induced current due to the change of magnetic flux linked with the closed circuit is called as electromagnetic induction. Okay. Now this phenomena of electromagnetic induction is of great practical importance in our daily life. It forms the basis of the present day generators, transformers, etc. Modern civilization owes a great deal to the discovery of the electromagnetic induction. Okay. Now we are going to have the Faraday's experiments, and this is the experiment first one, where we are showing induced EMF with a stationary coil and a moving magnet. You have studied this in 10th standard, so briefly I am going to explain you. Okay. Now what is this explanation? In the first diagram you can see that here whenever the north pole of the magnet is strong bar magnet is brought towards the coil, the galvanometer shows the deflection in one side towards suppose right, okay, from the 0 mark. And again suppose we are going to bring the magnet away from that particular coil, then you can see that the direction of the current is also changed and the galvanometer is also showing now the deflection towards left. Okay, so this is the basic experiment where coil is stationary and the magnet is moved to and fro. Okay, so what is this particular experiment? When a bar magnet is placed near the coil, the number of lines of force passes through it. You can see here these brown color lines are lines of forces passing through it. Okay, as the magnet is moved closer to the coil, the magnetic flux linked with the coil goes on increasing, and therefore EMF is induced and the current is set up in that particular coil. The magnetic flux linked with the coil decreases and induced EMF also goes on decreasing. And we have here the suppose keeping the magnet stationary, the magnetic lines of forces are not going to change, and therefore we cannot see any change in that particular galvanometer deflection. It remains at the zero place. Okay, but whenever we are going to say that as the magnet is moved away, you can see here the magnet is moved away from the coil, then the magnetic flux linked with the coil decreases and again induced EMF is generated and current is set up in the coil in the opposite direction. Okay, as soon as the relative motion between the magnet and that particular coil changes, or suppose we are going to say ceases, okay, then the magnetic flux linked with the coil stops changing, and so the induced current through the coil becomes zero, and in that case galvanometer deflection remains at zero. Okay, so we have studied the another experiment also where we can move the coil and keep the magnet stationary. We have studied the another experiment where one coil is going to induce the EMF by varying the current in the another neighboring coil. These all experiments we have studied in 10th standard. So all the experiments relates the change in the flux is associated with that particular induced current. And here we are going to have here Faraday's laws of EMI, electromagnetic induction. Okay, so what is this particular law? First law says that whenever the magnetic flux linked with the closed circuit changes, an EMF or a current is induced in it, which lasts only so long as the change in the flux is taking place. So when the magnet is stationary, there is no change in the flux associated with the coil, and therefore the galvanometer will show zero deflection. Okay, so change in the flux is taking place, that time the current is induced and EMF is induced. This phenomena is called as the electromagnetic induction. Now Faraday's second law explains that the magnitude of the induced EMF is equal to the rate of change of magnetic flux linked with the closed circuit. This is very, very important. Okay, so we can say that here it is a mod of E is induced EMF. Mod of E is equal to d phi by dt. So here we can clearly say that whenever there is a rate of change of flux takes place in a very short interval of time t, that means the process is very quick process, then the EMF induced is larger. If we are going to change the flux by keeping the time factor as a larger manner, then the EMF induced will be less. So the motion of the magnet must be to and fro and very quick motion, then only the induced EMF magnitude is higher. This is the second law. Okay, so we are going to find out this expression for the induced EMF. Okay, now as we have said that induced EMF E is equal to d phi by dt. Okay, now we are going to consider the Lenz law, because Lenz law we are going to explain later on, but we are going to consider here the factor, that is Lenz law. E is equal to minus d phi by dt. This why this minus sign occurs, we are going to explain it in the Lenz law. Okay, so E is equal to minus d phi by dt, and negative sign indicates that the direction of the induced EMF is such that it opposes the change in the magnetic flux. Okay, now if the coil consists of tightly wound turns, then the EMF induced in all these turns is equal and in the same direction, and hence gets added up. Okay, and therefore total induced EMF E is equal to minus n, this is the number of turns, d phi by dt. Okay, now if the flux changes from phi 1 to phi 2 in time t, okay, in a small time t, then the average induced flux is given by average induced EMF is given by minus n phi 2 minus phi 1 divided by t. Okay, so this is the formula in which we can say that we can find out the magnitude of the average EMF, induced EMF, by using the Faraday's laws of electromagnetic induction, and this is the formula which we are going to utilize in the certain numericals.